We are halfway through the month of May in 2024. We are well on our way through the NFL regular season. The draft is over, free agency is near complete, and we have plenty to discuss in regards of way too early NFL awards show. I am joined here by Brendan. We are Statletics. Today we're going to walk through MVP, Offensive Player of the Year, Defensive Player of the Year, Offensive Rookie of the Year, Defensive Rookie of the Year, and then if time permitting, Comeback Player of the Year. We're going to give some of our favorite picks, some of our best value picks, and some of our favorite long shots to win each award. So again, way too early, but Brendan and I, we do the show every year. We love it. It gives us a chance to just have a full-on discourse about some of the big-name players in the league, and it's just more NFL content for us. So we love it. We're here for it. Beach, how we doing, man?
Yeah, I'm good. Nothing better to do today than talk about awards that won't be released until January. So I'm excited about it.
Yeah, I know. So now there's kind of a couple ways to look at it. Now is the best time to find some value with some particular players, especially if you have a hunch about the way that they're going to perform. You know, a lot of you guys, and we do it as well, but a lot of us, we like to gloat and say, oh, so-and-so is going to do this, so-and-so is going to do that. They're on a new team. They're going to go off, you know, whatever it may be. This is the chance to actually prove, you know, talk the talk and walk the walk. So here we lay some early bets on who we think is going to win some of these awards. So it's always fun. So the ground rules for this, again, we have a couple different categories. We have some of our strong, of course, we're going to talk about the obvious, you know, like the Patrick Mahomes to win the MVP. Of course, that's an obvious. He's the favorite at like 6-1 right now. But aside from the obvious choices, we're going to give some strong picks, some guys who we think have really, really good odds, like great value of what they're priced at and what the implied odds give. And then some of our favorite long shots as well. And again, it's just all in good fun. And we also, in the middle of the season, like to revisit this because sometimes strong players perform poorly to begin the season with, thus giving them better odds and a chance to come back and to price in some good value there. So that's also a good strategy that Beej and I follow as well. But no time wasted, straight into the MVP award. Lamar Jackson won it last year. We have a slew of guys who can win it this year. We have the obvious guys. Patrick Mahomes priced at 6-1. Josh Allen priced at 8-1. Joe Burrow priced at 9-1. We have some new faces in here that we are probably certainly going to discuss. But Brendan, start me off hot with a guy who you love to win the MVP in 2024.
Oh, I'll start out not as hot as you might think. But I do want to remind everybody that, you know, I don't know, it's the last 10 years at least, like all the MVP winners won at least 12 games. Like they're all playoff teams, and they have to be on a good team. It can't be a team that's going to win like 6 games. So that's the category that they always fall in.
Yeah, it's got to be quarterback. It's got to be quarterback, and it's got to be a top seed in the playoffs in their division, just about.
Yep.
You know?
So I'm going to start off with player at 8-1 in our guy Josh Allen. And the reason I'm going to start here is because, you know, Diggs is gone. He's got a new receiver in there in Keon Coleman. And if he performs really well this year, statistic-wise, as well as showing that he's got that dog in him, he can carry the team with his rushing or whatever it is, willing his team to win, I think that it really shows a lot with him coming in here with some rookie players and young players. And if they were to get a top seed in the playoffs, then I think that it's a really good chance that Josh Allen could win his first MVP.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, I agree. I think he can easily carry a team by himself. He's got some new weapons. You know, it does suck that he loses Stephon Diggs, like you say, but it could be for the worst. Joe Brady calling the plays, I think, is a blessing in disguise. I think he's a mastermind. So that definitely benefits Josh Allen as well. And it should be a fun division nonetheless. So projections, our Statletics soft projections, we haven't done our hard projections yet, but our soft projections actually don't really favor him. They have him, they have Josh Allen around 5th, statistically speaking, in terms of passing yards and passing touchdowns, give or take 2 spots. So, but again, Sean candidate, he can certainly do it all plus more. So I like that. You can also get him 9-1 at Bet Rivers. I'm going to lead off with another one. Jalen Hurts 20-1. I feel like is kind of a steal, and you can get him 20-1 right now over at FanDuel. And so I think the consensus right now is 16-1, 18-1, but over at FanDuel, getting him 20-1, I feel like is a steal given his circumstances. He got great weapons, Devontae Smith and AJ Brown. Of course, they just signed AJ to an extension. Dallas Goedert. They just brought in Saquon Barkley. I know they lost Jason Kelsey, but their offensive line is still really solid. He's going to be doing the tush push. That hasn't been outlawed, so we know that's inevitable. And you think about it, last year he had a down year, quote unquote, comparatively speaking, and he was still in the MVP race. So I think if he picks it up this year and has himself a better year, then I think he absolutely is in strong contention to win the MVP. And you know the Eagles are going to be one of the top teams. You know, they're going to win 10 plus games. And our soft projections actually have Jalen Hurts leading in total touchdowns, not passing touchdowns, total touchdowns for 2024.
And you're missing the key piece there with our kingmaker of quarterbacks, which is Kellen Moore is now the offensive coordinator.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
Mean,
he is.
I just furthered your point there.
Thank you. And you know, it's fun. He's going to get the Dallas Cowboys twice, and you know, Kellen Moore is going to do everything in his power to make sure the Philadelphia Eagles offense shreds the Cowboys. So love it. I'm going to follow up with that on another one, and this one actually has shorter odds than the one I just mentioned. But Jalen Hurts at 20-1 was just too strong for me to not put as my favorite strong pick. Jordan Love 14-1 FanDuel. This one's a hot take, but our projections actually have Jordan Love leading the league in passing touchdowns, crazily enough, in front of guys like Joe Burrow, CJ Stroud, Patrick Mahomes. And he certainly has every chance to do so. If he starts the year and runs through 2024 the way that he finished off 2023, I think he is absolutely very much in contention to win this. He is in his division is softening up a little bit. You know, the NFC is really not near as strong as the AFC. The Vikings are down again this year. The Bears, who knows? They have a really strong offense, but their defense is really going to struggle as well. The Lions, I know they have a really good team, but they had some holes in their defense as well. So Jordan Love has a chance to really have a year this year. So 14-1, especially with our projections, loving him in the passing TD realm, I have a feeling that the Green Bay Packers can definitely win 10 plus games, be a top seed in the NFC, given how soft the NFC is. And if he continues to progress as a passer like he did last year, he will definitely be in contention. Brendan, thoughts?
Yeah, I have him as well. He's one of my three that I had on there, and I'm going to add a fourth because I'm going to later. But yeah, the way he finished the season, if he were to replicate that for an entire season, I think it'd be awesome. I think the Packers are going to be really good. Just in general. They've got all those really young but really talented receivers, and it's not just like one guy where you can take him out of the equation. There's Jalen Reed, Dontavian Wicks, Christian Watson, you can go anywhere. Yeah. And Luke Musgrave's at tight end. Now they have Josh Jacobs. And so I just think the team's going to be really good. I mean, this in the NFC, it could be a top 2 seed and going to the playoffs.
It's wide open. It's wide open.
And I 100% agree with Jordan Love taking. I put a little note down to watch it live. I know we were talking about mid-season, checking it out. And if he were to start slower again, the odds for MVP really push up and down. They go kind of crazy. So I think that'd be a good one to look into. Maybe week 5, depending on what's going on. So I'm excited about that one. Now I'm going to bring my third one into here. And I know I'm just hard for this guy for some reason, but sophomore season is a really big season for a breakout season, and who not to think about CJ Stroud winning the MVP? Who not? Why not? Why not him?
And so here, I'm going to add on because he's one of mine as well, and I want to make this efficient time wise. But CJ Stroud, guy who won Offensive Rookie of the Year, dominated, had way more wins. Their team went way over expectations. Brings in Stephon Diggs. Nico Collins and Tank Dell should be fully healthy. Their division is soft. You think about it, they're playing the Titans, the Jags, and the Colts. And the Colts, Jags may be a little bit underrated, but I mean, they have a chance to win their division, to make a splash in the AFC. And then that means, I think, CJ Stroud very much will be in MVP contention. So I'm all aboard it. He's one of mine as well.
Yeah, and they've added Joe Mixon as well, which, people would have polarizing opinions on that, but just the offense itself should be good. They shouldn't have to rely on any particular facet on the offensive side of the ball. So, but yeah, I mean, Diggs, Collins, and Dell is ridiculous for a receiving core. So yeah, it's going to be good.
And Tank Dell got shot, and he's back healthy. So you know what that means.
Mini men. Yep.
Incoming
mini men playing as he comes out.
All right. Okay, I have a couple of guys who are, I love their odds, and, maybe there's some long shot picks for me. So I'm going to lead this one off. Do you have any more strong picks for MVP?
I just have one more longer shot. It's not a really long shot, but I have one more longer shot, but I'll come in midway through. Yeah.
Okay. So I got one guy, 60-1 at Caesars. Kirk Cousins to win MVP. And before you start pounding on me, before all of you guys start pounding on me for being a Falcons homer. Okay, yes, I am a Falcons homer, but think about it. This division is the easiest division in football, hands down. Hands down. He'll be playing the Bucs, the Panthers, and the Saints. So, given that schedule, plus the rest of the NFC as well, plus his young core with Drake London, Kyle Pitts, Bijan Robinson, and more, I think, and then the O-line is a top 12 O-line per PFF as well. The defense is solid. They're not like phenomenal, but they're very, very solid. So they're more than likely going to win their division. They're going to have a chance to have a top 4 seed in the playoffs. Why not Kirk Cousins? Why not Kirk Cousins? Dome. They're in the dome too. Yeah, exactly.
Dome Kirk. It still lives.
The only thing holding him back is that it's his first year with this team, particularly. And, more often than not, teams like they can still perform well, but it's more so a player who's been in an offense for more than a year where they can get their groove and perform at the highest level. But who's to say Kirk Cousins can't capitalize in the worst division of football with some elite playmakers? I will go as far to say elite playmakers. If Drake London was on the Rams or something, he'd have 1,500 yards plus. He would be a household name, hands down. So I think that they're going to utilize their weapons well. I think Kirk Cousins is going to spray and pray. Look what he did with the Vikings last year. And I definitely see him potentially having a phenomenal year, if not a really, really good year. So 60-1, long odds for me. I love it.
And look, I mean, if it was, if he was like 10-1, I'd say no. But yeah, I mean, the long odds, anything's possible. The injuries can happen with other teams, and anything can happen. So I like your long shot. Are you ready for my long shot?
Yep, let me hear it.
So here's a guy who is an athletic freak.
I know where this is going, and I'm all aboard.
Yeah. But I can't take back what I said last year, right? But all I can say is I was wrong. Okay.
You were.
So at 30-1, I have Anthony Richardson. And the reason, I think the Colts are going to be really good. Like, with Shane Steichen there also, and, he was there with Jalen Hurts when Hurts became what he is now at the Eagles, and now Steichen is the Colts guy, and he's got AR. They just drafted A.D. Mitchell. They have Michael Pittman. They have Jonathan Taylor, who everybody just forgot about. And, I mean, he's still Jonathan Taylor. And with AR there, okay, that's fine. With AR there, you got basically a triple option every single play. AR can take it. JT can take it. He can throw the ball. And he can throw it a quarter mile. And at 30-1, I'm in on it.
I am too. And I actually got him at 40-1 over at Caesars.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Even better odds.
I'm always on DraftKings because I hate more money, I guess. But that was the DraftKings odds of 30-1.
Yeah, I mean, limitless potential. Limitless potential. Shane Steichen, I think he is so great. So great. A phenomenal play caller, phenomenal developer. People forget he was the one that was at Philadelphia as the QB/offensive coordinator who developed Jalen Hurts. Look at what Jalen Hurts has turned into. And I even think that Anthony Richardson is a better athletic profile than what Jalen Hurts has. So limitless potential, especially with Shane Steichen being the developer and the play caller. Great young receiving core in Pittman, Doolin, and Adonai, especially. Offensive line exceeded expectations last year, and I think they will this year. And the defense is not bad. I mean, they gave up some big games, but even if that's the case, higher scoring potential games. The only question with Anthony is, can the Colts win 10 plus games? They're in a solid division, but the conference, the AFC, is going to be tough for him to do it, but it's possible, especially at 40-1. I'm all on board.
We'll talk about it more in the divisional breakdown when we talk about it, but yeah, I think they could. And this is a true long shot from he is completely unproven. He came out, he was kind of struggling as a rookie at first, and he got hurt, right? Yep. So this is truly a long shot bet, and I'm all about it.
Same here. I got two more long shots, so we're going to glaze over them really quick. I don't want to spend too much time, but Kyler Murray, 60-1 over at Caesars. He played the end of 2023 really solid. And this one is tough. I can see a lot of arguments of, do you think the Cardinals can even break 500? Question is, I don't know. But at 60-1, they just drafted the best rookie and wide receiver in football right now. They have Trey McBride, who had a monster season last year. The division is, outside of the 49ers, it's winnable. They're just competing with the Rams and the Seahawks. So
they won't win, but I know what you're saying.
You get what I'm saying? But
yeah,
it's a possibility. There's new coaching. It's a new staff. It's a new everything. They kind of just clean housed everything. They're no longer in rebuild mode. I think they have like parts and pieces of a team that they want, and we've seen crazier things happen. Look what the Houston Texans did last year. Everybody thought they were going to be rebuilding last year, and lo and behold, they were in the playoffs last year. So it's possible. It's possible. And then Jared Goff, I low key love this pick because our projections love this pick. Consensus is 40-1. I got 40-1 over at DraftKings. Our projections, the Statletics projections, have Goff leading the league in total passing yards, and they have him fifth in touchdowns. And this one I like at the value because the Lions can easily win 10, 12 games. So a quarterback on a team who is going to win double-digit games, potentially be a top seed in the playoffs. He is comfortable in this offense. I think he could do it, So
my only rebuttal to that is with the voters on the awards. Like, will they deem that it was him that did it? I'm aware. He will have like 40 or 4,000 to 4,500 passing yards, like no doubt, or higher. But I just worry about. He has also just got a ridiculous contract, but I just worry about what the voters will actually think about. Was it him? Because he does have that low A dot where he just gets the ball to his guys, which is all a quarterback's supposed to do. But that's my only slight rebuttal. But it's a long shot bet. So
exactly.
Spray and pray.
It's shiny. It's shiny on a team that's going to win double-digit games. I like it. So moving on, offensive player of the year. So contrary to the MVP, where MVP is a strictly, it's only a quarterback award. We can safely say that the last 10 plus have been quarterbacks. Offensive player of the year is not a quarterback award. It's basically the best offensive player that's not a quarterback. And fantasy football performance is highly correlated with this as well. So this kind of feels like just a fantasy football award in essence. I think Christian McCaffrey won it last year. I got a couple of guys who I really love, especially considering some of their odds. I wish I did have more running backs on this list, though. I have a lot of receivers, but we got some fun ones to talk about. Brendan, start us off. Strong picks, offensive player of the year. Who's top of the list?
I'll start off one of the guys who has one of the best odds. I think the second best odds, maybe third. Third best odds, and I'm going to start it with CeeDee Lamb from the fact that he's a dog. Okay. And he is Dak's number one guy. They didn't add anybody in the draft. And I mean, he's just a shoe-in for, 12 to 1,400 receiving yards and a bunch of touchdowns. And, been shown time and time again, you just can't guard the guy. So, and the offense runs around him. So I've got go ahead.
And you can get him 10-1 on FanDuel right now too. So great odds.
Yeah, DraftKings 8.5 to 1. DraftKings sponsor this podcast. 8.5 to 1.
Please. Anyway, CeeDee Lamb, I love him too, dude. He's the top of my list as well. Statletics projections actually have him leading the league in receiving yards at 1595. So I think he will have a lion's share of targets in this offense. I think Mike McCarthy is going to be even more aggressive than he was last year throwing the football. So I just fully expect CeeDee Lamb to pick up right where he left off last year with Dak Prescott and just have a field day, day in, day out. So love CeeDee Lamb 10-1, strong pick.
There's one more. They can't even run the ball. They can't run the ball.
They brought in Zeke.
Rico Dowdle and Zeke. They can't run the ball. So, yeah, I mean, that's 160 targets. Calling it. Like, it's going to be unbelievable.
Yeah, it truly will be. That's a good point. Good point. So, I'm going to take a stab at my next one, Amon Ra St. Brown, 25-1 over at DraftKings. Strong in projections over here. He is third. He is projected for third in total receiving yards, and he's tied third for total and touchdowns. But I think that is, could easily be close to his floor almost. If he's healthy all 16 games, he's going to be a target monster. 10 to 12 receptions a game. It's very much in his wheelhouse, and he's Jared Goff's favorite target. And so, for a high octane offense and this Lions team, in conjunction with a defense who definitely gives up points, they're going to be scoring more and more and more. I think Amon Ra St. Brown is very much capable of winning Offensive Player of the Year given his target concentration in this offense. And then if he just ups his touchdown intake a little bit, he easily can be Offensive Player of the Year, very much in the realm of possibility. What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, I love Amon Ra. He's the guy for the Lions, but he's not the only guy, which is good. And he, is a really good separator and brings all the balls in. So I like that a lot. And it goes right with your MVP to Jared Goff. Top long shot. So I like it.
Yep.
I do. And it's funny, like when you look at this one, there's just so many guys that you can guess on. There's so many. And I'm like, how do I even narrow this down? So
look, and we talked about there's the obvious, okay? I hope we don't have to mention this because I'm sure somebody's going to come in the comments and be like, oh, no mention of McCaffrey again, no mention of Tyreek, no mention of Justin Jefferson. Look, Christian McCaffrey is 5.5 to 1, Tyreek's 6.5 to 1, Jefferson's 8.5 to 1. Jefferson playing with a rookie quarterback in a potential rebuilding year. McCaffrey done it again. That would be great. Will he replicate? I don't know. It's less likely than anything. Tyreek is the best one out of the top guys. But again, it's no point because they're not getting any value. So I'm looking for value here.
It's about the value. Because it's obvious, right? CMC should be the one that if you were to be a betting man right now, anybody should put their money on him if it was all even. So I agree with you. I'm going to come around my next one here. And before I say this, I just want to say that looking back previously on like running backs that won this award, it's just like an absurd season. Like absurd, like 2,000 yards, like absurd seasons, right? And so I tailored that to, I have two more running backs, two players that I feel like could potentially get there. Okay. So this first one is another sophomore. Who is it? Who is it? Who do you think it is? No. It's another sophomore. And this will go anti to your Kirk Cousins MVP. But if you look at the amount of touches Bijan Robinson got last year, it was like probably half of what a like workhorse running back would do. And, we have Raheem Morris going from the Rams, and the Rams have always produced good running backs with Gurley and then Kyron. And if you give this man a full workload and receiving and a team that's going to win a lot of games, Bijan Robinson at 20-1 is the pick for me.
I agree, but I think that the Falcons are going to throw much more than what they did last year.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that makes it a little tougher for them, for Bijan. But I mean, certainly in the realm of possibility, he has a chance to be RB1 overall in terms of fantasy perspective.
Yeah.
And he's going to be like, I don't think they're going to be injecting Algier near as much.
They shouldn't.
Cordell or Patterson is no longer with the Falcons, and it's going to be a high octane offense. It's going to be a very well oiled machine in a really, really bad division. So, sorry. I definitely think that's a solid pick. Now, for me, Kyron Williams at 45-1 over at FanDuel, I think is a little bit better because he's going to be the sole proprietor of the Rams backfield. And it's his second year as the starter. I know he's not a sophomore because it's his third year, but his sophomore year as a starter. And I think even if he's not that efficient or, what have you, I think he's still going to have all of the running back receptions, the majority of the running back carries, and anything. Like if he can maintain the workload that he had last year, then pretty solid. Good odds, at least, given the circumstances.
What did he hurt last year? Because I know he's a smaller guy.
Ankle.
What was his injury? Ankle?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Yeah. I was just curious. Like, you can't bet on injuries, right? But,
yep. I know, right?
Yeah.
That's scared betting. Scared money don't make
scared
money.
Betting.
Beej, second running back, who you got?
The second running back I have here, and I don't know if I like it or not, but all I know is he only had one carry inside the 5 last year. But I've got Breece Hall here I've got Breece Hall at 16-1 on a Jets team whose offensive line is so much better now. They're getting Aaron Rodgers back, and their defense is good. I mean, if you just look at it on paper, they should be a really good team, and Breece is so good. And I know that he, had the ACL, but he came back, and the second half of last season was dominant. And Aaron Rodgers is going to call the plays, right? But, he was able to support Aaron Jones for a long time, and I don't know. I'm rethinking it now. But I like Breece Hall based on the talent and the O-line upgrade and having Aaron Rodgers back at 16-1.
Yeah, and again, you can get him 30-1 too.
Yeah. If you shop, that's what I'm talking about. But once again, with these running backs, you got to be a 2,000-yard type guy or close and a lot of receiving yards.
Yeah, it's a fair point. Fair point. So I'm going to move on to a few guys who I think have really fun odds given their circumstances. I'll give 2 receivers. I'll give them both actually, and you can kind of give me your thoughts on who you like better. AJ Brown 40-1 at Caesars. He was powering through last year. I feel like if he honestly ended the year a little bit stronger, he would have rivaled Tyreek CMC. He was rivaling Tyreek CMC for Offensive Player of the Year. He just had a bad finish to last year. So in conjunction with my Jalen Hurts MVP pick, I think AJ Brown to win Offensive Player of the Year, to let him settle the score a little bit on the, for tempers to ease down in the offseason and for everybody to become one happy family again. AJ Brown at 40-1 based off of what he was doing halfway through the season last year. I think those are great odds. I think those are great. I'm willing to take that risk. And same goes for Puka Nacua. 30-1. You could have found him 35-1, but he closed in really quickly, just a matter of a few short days ago. But I got him 30-1 on DraftKings. Here, let's say this. Puka Nacua, after the way he performed last year with Cooper Kupp on the decline, I think Sean McVay is going to insert him into more so Cooper Kupp's role in the offense in terms of target share and the way, dedicated plays drawn up in his favor. I think he's going to take that, he's going to take the reins from Cooper Kupp. And I think if that's the case, look what Cooper Kupp did a couple years ago, Triple Crown, with Matthew Stafford throwing the ball, the Kingmaker, the other Kingmaker. It's insane. Puka Nacua 30-1, he should be priced around 20, anywhere between 15 and 20-1, given that he's going to be the wide receiver 1 for this Rams offense. So, love the odds, love those guys. Thoughts, rebuttals?
No, I mean, it's a strong take. Like I said, you can convince yourself of any guy, from top 20 of guys on here right now. But I love the take on Puka, and he really could, and they're going to be behind a lot. And so, I mean, I love it. It's just who you see first, who catches your eye first when you're looking at these and going with them. But I do think that wide receivers have an easier path to get there than running backs.
Yep.
I will say, based on what I talked about earlier.
Do you have any more Offensive Player of the Years?
I don't. I limited myself to 3.
Okay, I got last one. Last one, and this goes in support of my Kirk Cousins MVP talk. I think I've liked this one more so than I like the Kirk MVP. But Drake London, he was 90-1. Now he's down to 70-1. I think 70-1 is the highest, or the lowest odds that, the shortest odds that I would take him at. But still, 70-1, 90-1 for Drake London to win Offensive Player of the Year, to be Kirk Cousins, wide receiver 1. Come on. He's not Justin Jefferson, but he can be close, And if he's going to get the volume that Justin Jefferson got from Kirk Cousins, wow. Like, I think he should be like 50-1, 40-1 almost. So I think that's a fun bet. And again, I know Falcons homer, yada, yada, yada. I'll take it on the chin, but these guys are too talented to not be respected. And they've been in that Arthur Smith offense for too long. They've been chained up. And now this year, lo and behold, they will be released and people will know who Drake London, Kyle Pitts, and Bijan Robinson are.
Yeah, it was just sad to watch it
beforehand. It was malpractice.
Yes, it was very sad. But I love it. Okay,
Defensive Player of the Year. Well, we can glaze over this kind of quick. Yeah. These are where the obvious ones more often hit than not. It's kind of tough to get in a long shot odds. One thing to say is this is a pass rusher award. It's hardly ever going to be a linebacker, even though I have strong feelings that linebackers who average 10 tackles a game, are more valuable to their team, who a guy, like obviously Myles Garrett, Micah Parsons, and TJ Watt are, some of the best and would be top picks for any defense across the board. But, guys like Roquan Smith don't get the respect that they deserve. But the fact of the matter is it's a pass rusher award, similar to how MVP is a quarterback award. This one, I'm solely aimed at pass rushers. So obvious are the guys that I mentioned, Parsons, TJ Watt, Garrett. There's not much value there. Those guys are anywhere between like 5-1 to 8-1. And you'd be fine, taking any of those guys. But I would personally wait and see if you can get some better value. Say the Browns lose a few games up front, or Dallas drops their home opener and Parsons' odds gets a little bit better. You can still take it and do that. That's what I would recommend. But getting into some strong picks for me, I have two guys. First one, Will Anderson, 30-1 on Bet Rivers. He is on a strong defense paired with a great offense. He was Defensive Rookie of the Year last year. So there are going to be Super Bowl contenders. They brought in Danielle Hunter to add pressure on the other side. So basically, that opens up another lane for Will Anderson. I love this pick because of the circumstances and the situation that he is going to be in, and I think he only progresses from last year. Second guy, Aiden Hutchinson, 16-1. Again, he's only gotten better every year. So heading into this next year, I think he's going to have a strong season, as the entire Detroit Lions will as well. What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, the only thing I'll say with DPOY is, it's probably going to be one of the top 4 guys, right? But it's actually funny because I'm going to talk against one of your longer shots. I actually had Danielle Hunter. Opposite of Will Anderson, just because of the attention that Will's going to get, and the fact that either one of them, with occupying both sides of the ball like that either one of them could come out and rack up a bunch of sacks, or it's a guessing game at that point. But I had him because he had longer odds than Will Anderson.
Yeah, and it's a matter of who you think is going to get that attention at times, and I think Will Anderson is elite. And Danielle Hunter is certainly close to elite. He's had a season or two where he was elite. So, I can see it. But, I'm a strong Will Anderson guy. I think he's going to dominate. Favorite odds. This is my last guy in this category. Defensive Player of the Year. But Jalen Carter at 100-1. I know he didn't get a lot of playing time last year. But when he did, he dominated. And I think that with everything calmed down, with none of the, the driving nuisance, the speeding, and the arrests and all of that, that's all kind of gone away. He's had a season to clear his head, for the drama to clear up. I think if the Eagles really, really want to utilize him more than what they did last year. And I know he's an interior rusher, but so is Aaron Donald. I think Jalen Carter can come out here and make a splash on a very strong defense, one that just loaded up on the secondary as well. They drafted 3-4 corners in this draft.
Two in top 2 rounds, I think.
Yeah, right? Yeah. So they're going to have a strong passing defense. That means that, potentially, hopefully, they can lock up guys for longer during a play, giving Jalen Carter a chance to come in and make a few sacks. So 100-1, thought it was kind of a steal. I like it.
Love it.
All right. Does that wrap it up for your defensive player of the year?
Yeah, let's move to the rookies.
Offensive rookie of the year. Okay. Obvious. Caleb Williams. 2-1. Okay. That's obvious.
Boo.
Can we not talk about it? And what sucks is his chances are so strong given the offense that he's in. He's got Keenan Allen, DJ Moore, and now he's got Roman Dunze to throw to, on top of bringing in DeAndre Swift as a running back.
Mm-hmm.
It's a solid unit. So very, very favorable environment for Caleb Williams, but 2-1, not necessarily the top odds we're shopping for.
We don't like favorites.
No.
What's the point?
Okay. So another kind of obvious here, but I got decent odds. Jaden Daniels, 8-1. He's projected for more yards and the same amount of total touchdowns as Caleb Williams. And he's in a Cliff Kingsbury offense. He's got strong weapons. Now, I don't know if he'll be able to win as much in this Commanders offense, but
racist.
I think Jaden Daniels is in almost just as good of an environment with more, statistical upside with his rushing ability than Caleb Williams.
Mm-hmm.
So Jaden Daniels 8-1. It's hard not to. And our projections have him projected for more total yards. So I like it. Beej, who you got?
Yeah, we're going to stray away from the quarterback position here because why would you be so boring? Why not pick a receiver? I've got 3 receivers here. Receivers put in great positions to ball out 1,000-yard seasons as a rookie, right? So that's why I'll start off by something that might be obvious. Some people might not be to others, but it's just Maserati Marv coming in there.
Maserati Marv.
Okay. Wait, hold on. We got Maserati Marv coming in there to a wide receiver core with Kyler Murray throwing the ball to him that is non-existent except for
Trey McBride.
And do I think that Trey McBride will be the second leading receiver on that team? Yes, and he's a tight end. But I think the leading receiver will be Marvin Harrison Jr., and I think that he's going to, have so much volume that it'll be hard for him to fail. And I'm thinking 1,000-yard seasons for Marvin Harrison Jr., and that, in my opinion, I think that of the top total guys, I think he's the second best odds. Is that right?
Yeah.
Second best odds at 6.5 to 1 on DraftKings. I don't know what the best odds you can get, but I like it a lot.
Best odds you can get 7-1 on FanDuel, 6.5 to 1 on others, just about. But
yeah, no, I like it a lot because Caleb Williams is such a big favorite, and if Caleb starts the season good, and his odds get better, that means everyone else's odds are going to get worse. So I'd be looking at that. Especially after week 1, I feel like people are going to be overdramatic about these lines. So I'm looking to fire on Maserati Marv whenever I can.
Okay, I got a fun one for you. I wish the odds were a bit longer, though. I almost didn't put them on here. I wish the odds were a bit longer. But J.J. McCarthy 16-1 is intriguing. I wish he was 20-1, if not higher. I think 16-1 is probably priced correctly, and I'm probably being a total doofus even throwing this out there, but a guy throwing to Justin Jefferson, Jordan Addison, TJ Hawkinson with a trigger happy play caller and Kevin O'Connell. It's kind of hard not to try and, push some chips over to the side. I want a few shares of JJ McCarthy. If there is more to his passing game than what we saw at University of Michigan, which very well could be, given they only let him throw 12 times a game max, because they didn't need to. They could run the ball every time. Again, I will never understand that argument. If I was Michigan, I would do the same thing too. If I could go 15-0 by only running the football, I'd do it. Okay, that's it. So JJ McCarthy in this Vikings pass happy offense, I want some shares of. I think it's a very favorable situation for him, and it could be a situation where his stats and performance look much, much better due to the play caller in conjunction with the talent that is on the outside catching the football. So It's a fun bet. Not necessarily the right price, I would guess. I mean, I think he is priced right. I wish he was a bit longer, but it's fun. I had to throw it out there. So,
yeah.
You got anything else for me?
Oh, I've got plenty for you here because I'm going to start with one, or I'm going to go on to the next one with I think one that you have, but it just makes total sense for being pretty much the only receiver on that team with Justin Herbert at quarterback. I've got Ladd McConkey. Yep. Thank you, everybody. Ladd McConkey.
Think about it. It's a 25 to 27, if not 30% target share in a Justin Herbert-led offense.
And it's 25 to 1. Look, if you're a rookie receiver, all you need is 1,000 yards in a dream. 1,000 yards and, 8 touchdowns or something like that, and you can be in that running. So, especially if the quarterbacks don't pan out. So, I'm loving Ladd here. He gets open. He finds the open space, and as long as he had like a bit of an ankle injury or something in college, I don't remember exactly what it is, but as long as there's no nagging injuries there, I think it's just wheels up for him in this offense because Josh Palmer is the other receiver, Jalen Guyton, like nobody. So
Quentin Johnson, but he can't even catch the football.
Yeah. So I love Ladd. I do. And he's got a sweet name. And
Ladd McConkey, 30 to 1 as well on FanDuel for those price shopping. I love it too. The only argument that I made against myself is I'm scared about Jim Harbaugh because I think that he's going to drive this Chargers offense to throw a lot less than they typically do, which makes me so mad. Given the talent, the raw talent that Justin Herbert is, it's just such a waste. But I could see Harbaugh coming in and wanting to establish the run, bullcrap, whatever. But that's my only argument against it. Everything else is pretty favorable in terms of Ladd McConkey. I think he's going to be a PPR monster.
That's a fair argument, but there's no way the owner of that team lets Jim Harbaugh only throw the ball 15 times a game. There's just no way. It's the NFL.
Let's hope.
It's the NFL. There's no way. I don't know what it was, but whoever was the most rush happy team last year, they definitely threw it more than 15 times a game. Probably like in between 20 and 25. So, and if you're going to throw the ball 25 times and you only got Ladd out there, that's what, 25 targets? Yeah, I like it. 25 targets a game. Touchdown.
Let's hope. I got one more. Brian Thomas, 30 to 1 long shot. It's a long shot, okay, and I get it. He's going to have Christian Kirk to battle. He's going to have Evan Ingram to battle. But my argument for is he has a chance to take the Ridley role and thrive even more so than Ridley did. I think that, with the stature that Brian Thomas has, he's, he has a chance to be a bigger frame, bigger catch radius, and, even more explosive than Ridley was last year. For Trevor Lawrence in a division that's a bit softer, same argument for Anthony Richardson for MVP. It's a soft division. But Ryan Thomas, 30 to 1 has a chance, he could be it. And, I wanted to put Malik Neighbors here, but I actually like Brian Thomas better at his odds with a better quarterback than Malik Neighbors. So it's a long shot. I get it, but I liked him enough to throw him on here. Beach, who you got for me?
Yeah, same situation here, receiver. With good quarterback, with not a lot of target competition, and that is to go with my Josh Allen MVP bet. It's Keon Coleman.
Okay.
And on that team, you've got Keon Coleman. You've got, I don't even know. They shipped off Diggs and Davis. I don't even know who they picked up to run the slot. It's somewhat like a journeyman guy. I don't remember who it is, but you got Dalton Kincaid as the other person earning targets there. And I don't know how much they're really going to throw out of the backfield. So based off of that and based off the criteria of 1,000-yard receiver, good team, score a lot of touchdowns, Keon Coleman was sick in college. He was so sick. He was awesome. And he's hilarious in all of his interviews. So, you want a comedian out there who catches touchdowns. And I love it. And that is my final one at 25 to 1.
Nice.
Same as Ladd.
Nice. Okay. Anybody else for Offensive Rookie of the Year?
Not this guy.
All right. That wraps it up for me as well. 2024 NFL Comeback Player of the Year. This one is tough. I don't really have anybody, but I wanted to have a conversation at least because, one, you have Aaron Rodgers, who's like chalk. to win this. He's less than 2-1 odds. And I get it. If he comes back and wins 9+ games, you kind of have to give it to him almost, given the circumstances. But you have some other intriguing options with guys like Joe Burrow or Anthony Richardson, even Kirk Cousins. My personal favorite, Nick Chubb, sitting at like 18-20-1, given how gruesome his injury was, I don't think would even still win it if Aaron Rodgers won 9 or 10 games, if not more. So let's have a conversation about it. Aaron Rodgers, Joe Burrow sitting at the top at the chalk. What do you think it will take for them not to win the award?
That's a good question.
I
mean, it's, you can go a bunch, like last year it was like Joe Flacco played like 6 games and he won. So,
true.
It depends on the type of the criteria you're looking for, as far as, is it just a quarterback that's kind of washed but like leads the teams to the playoff like Joe Flacco, or is it someone who got injured? And I mean, Aaron Rodgers getting injured on drive 1 of game 1 after carrying an American flag out, it's just the most dramatized like comeback player of the year thing ever. I mean, you can't. So, but
do you think even if he goes 500 on the dot, do you think he still wins it?
No.
Do you think
there'll be a better story? There'll be a better story.
So you think he needs to win 9 or more games?
I mean, I think he needs to go to the playoffs. Okay. I don't think they would give it to him. I think there's plenty of better stories here that'll end up happening throughout the NFL season. That if he doesn't go to the playoffs, then I don't think he wins.
So you think? So let's say Aaron Rodgers barely misses the playoffs, and Joe Burrow barely makes it. You think Joe Burrow gets it?
Probably. I mean, I think Aaron Rodgers wins it to make the playoffs. I think that if Aaron Rodgers doesn't win it, that there's something else kind of crazy, that a story that comes up. Like, I don't think it's like going to be necessarily the top guys up there right now. Yeah. Like Joe Burrow's 2-1, Aaron Rodgers is nearly even. I like longer shots in here because you have no idea what's going to happen. And, if AR's 7.5-1, if AR doesn't win MVP, but he still has like a great season, like MVP worthy season type deal, and they win a lot of games, they make the playoffs, I think it's way better chances that he wins for the injury there. But what is he coming back from? Like, it's been like 1 year.
Yeah.
Like a half a year. So you never know. But to throw this out here, this wild scenario, okay? I've got Sam Darnold at 30-1 winning this award for being a mediocre quarterback, but leading, because JJ McCarthy doesn't work out, leading the Vikings to the playoffs and having a really good season.
Wow.
That's the type of story I'm talking about. Something like that'll end up happening.
So you don't think that JJ McCarthy will end up taking over?
I don't know. We'll see. I do. I mean, I do think that that's the plan, but maybe he isn't it.
Okay. What about what about Mike Williams at the Jets, though?
Who primarily wins this award? Is it quarterbacks, or is it just kind of random?
I mean, it's kind of random. Like, you remember like a decade ago when AP won it when he came off his ACL injury.
Yeah.
It's kind of what I think about with like Nick Chubb,
Yeah.
Like, I mean, his knee literally bent in half.
Yeah, I know. The Jets have... Go ahead.
Sorry, go ahead.
The Jets have Garrett Wilson. And Mike Williams has never really ever proved that he's that guy. Like, he's shown flashes here and there and then gets injured.
Yeah, my concern is, like, even if, so say Mike Williams does have a great year, it's got to go to Aaron Rodgers, the one throwing him the
Probably. Football. Yeah, because if Mike Williams has a good year, that means Aaron Rodgers had a good year.
Right. Yeah, that's what sucks. So, I mean, Tank Dell getting shot, though, coming back.
That is pretty sick. If he were to like lead the league in receiving or something, that'd be awesome.
Him sitting in like 50-1, like that's I wouldn't knock you for taking it, because that's a good one. That's a sneaky storyline, and I'm surprised his odds haven't shot up after the whole shooting. But that's pretty, because I mean, you think about when like Brian Robinson, his odds shot up for this back when he got shot. Yeah. So the only problem is like, yeah, I mean. It'll be interesting, but I'm hoping it's Nick Chubb. It's going to be hard for it not to be Aaron Rodgers. Anthony Richardson, I do like that actually.
Mm-hmm.
But outside of that, man, it's scarce. It's scarce. So it's scarce.
Yeah, it's just a difficult award to look at because you don't know what they're going to end up voting for. Like it was like minus like $1 million for Damar Hamlin last year.
Yeah, and you know
Joe
what?
Flacco came out of nowhere.
It's always. It's not even like the full year almost.
No,
it's like
it's end of season type.
Yeah,
deal.
you know, it's like what is the more heartwarming story or end of season story? Like if the Jets like make the playoffs because they win their very last game of the season, it's going to be Aaron Rodgers.
Oh yeah.
If the Bengals do that, you know, it's going to be Joe Burrow. You know, so I just, you know, it's more of a something that like picks up momentum in the latter half of the season. It's hard to pinpoint beforehand. So yeah. All right, man. Hey, that wraps it up for our way too early MVP or way too early NFL awards show. Always fun, always a blast, guys. We appreciate you watching. We will be back here soon. Very soon, we're going to be starting the division by division breakdowns. Those are the best. We always have a great time. So much goes into that show. So please keep an eye out for that. We appreciate you listening. We'll be back here soon.